One of the lingering challenges that the Nigerian economy has been contending with is graduate unemployment. The defining feature of this worrisome phenomenon is a situation in which many graduates of tertiary institutions roam the labor market in search of gainful jobs, sometimes endlessly and in vain. Now, under normal circumstances, tertiary institutions in Nigeria turn out graduates at the end of each academic year. As a result, the worrying trend of graduate unemployment has been escalating annually as the total number of unemployed graduates ballooned in exponential proportions at the end of each academic session. Good evening, my name is Chinemerem Joseph and I welcome you to today's edition of You and the Economy. As part of its efforts to boost economic growth and reduce unemployment among graduates of Nigeria Polytechnics and Universities, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, introduced the Tertiary Institutions Entrepreneurship Scheme, TIES. The scheme is designed to encourage undergraduates and graduates to embrace a culture of entrepreneurship geared towards job creation, economic growth, and sustainable development through self-employment. Now, this objective is in contrast to the desire of most undergraduates and students of tertiary institutions to secure white-collar jobs after the completion of their studies in universities or polytechnics. The scheme, which the CBN developed in partnership with the academia, was formally inaugurated on Thursday, November 25th, by the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, in the auditorium at the headquarters complex of the CBN in Abuja. That event is the focus of today's edition of You and the Economy. Our report will also intimate you with the key guidelines of the Tertiary Institutions Entrepreneurship Scheme and the way forward in its implementation.
The Tertiary Institutions Entrepreneurship Scheme, TIES, is an intervention initiative of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, which the Apex Bank developed in partnership with Nigerian Polytechnics and Universities. It is aimed at addressing the unrelenting dual problems of youth unemployment and underemployment in Nigeria. As you heard earlier in the introductory presentation by this program's anchor, the scheme is designed to harness the potentials of graduate entrepreneurs by encouraging products of tertiary institutions to shift their gazes away from the present pursuit of white-collar jobs towards imbibing a culture of entrepreneurship for economic development and job creation. TIES is, therefore, in line with the developmental mandate of the CBN aimed at ensuring inclusive growth. This is highly desirable since entrepreneurship is an integral part of any economy, and entrepreneurs play a key role in driving growth and innovation, which in turn boost job creation. The conceptualization and eventual inauguration of TIES are in fulfillment of the promise made by the CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, in July 2021 in his convocation lecture at the occasion of the 51st convocation ceremonies of the University of Lagos. In the paper titled National Development and Knowledge Economy in the Digital Age, Leapfrogging SMEs into the 21st Century, Emefiele had pledged that CBN will seek fresh collaboration with the nation's tertiary institutions to develop entrepreneurship programs and to support graduates and undergraduates who have bankable ideas to bring such ideas to fruition through the provision of access to finance. To redeem that promise, The CBN had engaged the leadership of some tertiary institutions in the country in fashioning the framework for an innovative financing model that will support entrepreneurship development among graduates and undergraduates of Nigerian Polytechnics and Universities. In October 2021, just about 3 months after the CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, made his laudable promise to establish it, the Tertiary Institutions Entrepreneurship Scheme (TIES) was put on an irreversible course when the Apex Bank released the scheme's guidelines for prospective beneficiaries. The Tertiary Institutions Entrepreneurship Scheme has 3 components. These are the term loan, the equity investment, and the development grant components. The term loan components of TIES provides direct credit opportunities to graduates of Nigerian Polytechnics and Universities of not more than 7 years post-graduation standing. If successful, an applicant shall be eligible for a maximum of 5 million naira towards an individual, sole proprietorship, or small company. The maximum facility of 25 million naira is for a partnership or limited liability company. The tenor of the facility is a maximum of 5 years with a 1-year moratorium. The interest rate is 5% per annum, but it shall revert to 9% by March 2022. The CBN promptly swung into action with the implementation of this component, as its pilot phase is presently being implemented by the bank through the Bank of Industry (BOI). The equity investment component of TIES is designed to support startups, existing businesses that require expansion, as well as ailing businesses seeking resuscitation. The component is designed for implementation under the equity window of CBN's Agribusiness Small and Medium Enterprises Investment Scheme, AGSMIS. The limits and terms of participation in this component of TIES shall thus be subjected to the limits prescribed by the AGSMIS guidelines, and the investment period shall be not more than 10 years. Now to the development grant components of TIES. This component is aimed at raising awareness and viability of entrepreneurship among undergraduates of Nigerian tertiary institutions. Under the development grant component, polytechnics and universities in Nigeria shall compete in a national biennial entrepreneurship competition where the tertiary institutions are represented by undergraduates who pitch innovative entrepreneurship or technological ideas with transformational potentials. After this pitch, 3 of the top institutions at regional levels shall proceed to the national level. At this higher stage, the top 5 shall be awarded grants ranging between 120 million naira and 250 million naira. The grants awarded for this component shall be used by the tertiary institutions solely for the development of the award-winning ideas and shall not be diverted to other purposes.
Thank you all and congratulations for being members of the Board of Experts. Thank you.
A body of experts, BOE, was constituted to administer the Tertiary Institutions Entrepreneurship Scheme by the CBN. The BOE is tasked with evaluating and ranking entrepreneurship presentations made by tertiary institutions under the development grant component of the scheme. The body recommends projects with high potential and transformational impact for grant awards. Launching the Tertiary Institutions Entrepreneurship Scheme, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, Boss Mustafa, who was represented at the event by Olakunle Fashola, Director, Public Affairs and Bilateral Relations, Office of the SGF, described the event as the birthing of yet another scheme by the CBN in its traditional role of maintaining low inflation and steady economic growth. The SGF commended the management and staff of CBN for their tremendous effort in ensuring that the Nigerian economy remained afloat in spite of the disruptions triggered by the COVID-19 pandemic. In a goodwill message, Minister of Education Adamu said the CBN's Tertiary Institutions Entrepreneurship Scheme should be regarded as a collaborative effort of the federal government towards strengthening the curriculum in Nigeria's tertiary institutions to enhance the entrepreneurial ecosystem with the aim of achieving transformational impact on the economy. Adamu was represented at the event by the Director, University Education of the Federal Ministry of Education, Rekia Ilyasu. While commending the CBN governor for conceiving the initiative and the local organizing committee for bringing it to fruition, the Minister of Education expressed hope that the ties will be a reference point in job creation and youth engagement, as well as in strengthening Nigeria's economy.
The Federal Ministry of Education is in full support of this laudable initiative and willing to render adequate assistance in ensuring the smooth take-off of the scheme towards achieving the desired objectives. It is against this backdrop that all the relevant stakeholders in the tertiary institution should key into the scheme and create enough awareness for their respective students to take advantage of the scheme to develop themselves.
Earlier in his opening remarks at the event, CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele restated the total and unrelenting commitment of the Apex Bank to providing support for Nigeria's educational sector in all ramifications. This, according to him, is because of the bank's conviction that without a robust educational sector, wholesome development shall remain unachievable. Emefiele said this scheme is aimed at providing an innovative financing model that will support the development of new entrepreneurial ideas among graduates and undergraduates of tertiary institutions. The CBN governor described the launch of the scheme as testimony to the important roles the youth should always play in building new blocks for economic growth, adding that only innovative financing models like TIES could effectively guarantee the bridging of financing gaps experienced by youths, whilst also providing them with access to low-cost credit to drive the development of business ideas.
My strong belief that the scheme will offer our youth entrepreneurs access to much needed finance, which has been identified as one of the major limiting factors to entrepreneurship development in Nigeria. I believe with the launch of this tertiary institutions entrepreneurship scheme and other programs such as this, it is only a matter of time before our tertiary institutions return to the glory days, where they churned out graduates not only ready and able to provide real solutions to the various challenges emanating from their immediate environment and even beyond, but who can compete favorably with their counterparts in any parts of the world.
On agitations by some tertiary institutions that were not included in the pilot phase of the scheme that they should not be left out totally, CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele offered assurance that other key deserving tertiary institutions will be accommodated in the future.
I'd like to conclude my remark with a clarion call to our Nigerian youths, particularly our graduates and undergraduates, that they should not succumb to the weight of despair regarding the challenges being faced by the nation. I challenge you today to pull yourselves up by your bootstraps. Take up the challenge of undertaking that paradigm shift by applying innovative and creative thinking in providing solutions capable of creating wealth and value for yourselves, for your friends, from your family, for your community, and your nation at large.
Besides the formal launch of TIES itself, there were two other high points of the ceremony. These were the presentation of checks to the 6 beneficiaries under the term loan component of TIES under which the pilot phase of the scheme was run, and the inauguration of the body of experts to evaluate and rank entrepreneurial presentations made by tertiary institutions under the developmental grant component of the scheme. Both activities were performed by CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele. Out of the 5 that were present at the event, 4 of the term loan component beneficiaries got checks for sum of 5 million naira each, while the 5th had the sum of 4,127,500 naira approved for his business.
The person of Aisha Suleiman. Aisha, please come forward.
Aisha Suleiman graduated in 2014 from Bayero University, Kano, with a BSc degree in applied biology. Her current line of business is the processing of cashew nuts from the shelling through the grading stage, that is, processing of cashew into tasty and crunchy cashew nuts. Chukwudi Ukpabi graduated from Kano Ibiam Federal Polytechnic, Uwana, Ebonyi State in 2015 with a Bachelor of Science degree in Electrical Electronics Engineering. He is self-employed and his line of business is the development of solar power systems. Zainab Muhammad is a year 2014 graduate of Federal Polytechnic, Bida, Niger State. She holds a BSc degree in Quantity Survey and her current line of business is milling and processing of rice. A 2016 BSc graduate of Animal Production and Technology from Odu Bako College of Agriculture, Dambata, Kano State, Nura Muhammad Abdullahi is into the poultry business with focus on the production of eggs. Simeon Ojonugwa Ojobani is also a beneficiary under the term loan component of TIES. A 2015 economics graduate of Kogi State University, Anyigba, Ojubani's company is into internet services, communications and point-of-sale machine services. Olaniyi Adebowale is a 2016 BSc Accounting graduate of the University of Lagos, Akoka, Yaba, Lagos. Adebowale, who was unavoidably absent at the event and who was represented by proxy, owns a company that currently has 7 staff in its employ and 4 interns. In his words of encouragement to the beneficiaries after the symbolic checks presentation ceremony, CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele congratulated the awardees for being the first set of beneficiaries of TIES. He expressed hope that 5 years hence, the beneficiaries will visit the CBN showing videos of how they had been able to expand their businesses, rather than tell stories of failure in their future interactions with the bank. The CBN Governor called on youths to see the beneficiaries as role models they should emulate and urged them to key into the tertiary institution's entrepreneurship scheme.
Formal inauguration of the body of experts.
Next was the inauguration of the body of experts for the development grant component of TIES. The body consists of professionals of impeccable standing, drawn from the academia, professional bodies and industry. Members of the body and the institutions they were tapped from are Abubakar Suleiman, Managing Director of Sterling Bank PLC, who chairs the BOE, Patrick Iyamabo, First Bank of Nigeria PLC, Adamu Lawani, Zenith Bank PLC, Ngova Ihembe Nwankwo, Rand Merchant Bank, Ashafa Laden, and Engineer Abati Mohammed of National Board for Technical Education, NBTE. Other members include Dr. Friday Okpara of Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN, Tokpe Fashua, Global Analytics Consulting, and Brigadier General Folusho Unyilola of the National Defense College, Abuja. Temitope Akinfadeyi of the CBN is the secretary to the body. Speaking on behalf of his colleagues after the inauguration of the BOE, its chairman, Abubakar Suleiman, said, it was an honor to be nominated to serve on the body. The BOE chairman said the body was conscious of the fact that whatever it does in the discharge of its roles will be questioned in the court of public opinion and indeed in the corridors of power. He assured the CBN governor that the BOE will discharge its responsibilities honorably and diligently at all times. Yila Yusuf is the Director, Development Finance Department of the CBN. The department superintends the intervention programs of the CBN. He spoke to the media on the criteria used to select the 6 beneficiaries whose applications for funds were approved as pioneer beneficiaries of the term loan component of TIES, how the scheme is being funded, as well as on how long it shall be run by the CBN.
The 5 or 6 that you see here today are just a subset of the thousands of applications that we've received, and it's an ongoing process, and applications are being evaluated as we speak. Tertiary has been set up front, so we're looking at activities that are, job stimulating, that will contribute to economic growth, things like the creative industry that we know a lot of our youths really do. We're looking at agribusiness. We're also looking at things that will contribute to export, things that will employ people, things that contribute to economic growth and ultimately contribute to output in the country. Every year, all the banks contribute 5% of their profit after tax into a pot. And it's that pot that will be using to disburse funds to these beneficiaries. As long as the banks are there, you continue to have these funds and we'll make it available to our citizens.
You and the Economy spoke with some of the pioneer beneficiaries of the term loan component of TIES.
I filled this form on the portal a long time ago, so it was something I wasn't even expecting. So when I got the call, I was very happy, very, very happy. And I know it will change a lot of things about my business.
There are some customers who want already made solar power system. So what I will now do, I will have a workspace where I will produce some, keep it there for this customer to come and see where I stay. They can now pick it than waiting for customers that will give me money before I produce it. Not only producing it, I also want to go into training other young graduates, imparting them with the skills.
The challenging I have been having mainly is just the opportunity I've just gotten now, which is capital. It was a project we had, but there was nobody to help us to supply 30 trucks of rice. But because the money is not there, so we couldn't. So with this opportunity now by the CBN, I'll be able to pad more of rice, because before we can conveniently do 100 bags or 108, which sometimes if the client is not ready to even keep the money and give us time to produce, we can't make any sales. So it's a very great opportunity that I appreciate. I have 3 staffs already before, then sometimes I have to also work myself. But with this now, I already had a plan of employing 6 or more people.
I am happy because this will help me to improve my business by buying another bats, fold battery cage and feeds.
By the virtue of this additional capital, business capital, I think already there's going to be an expansion in my business. I feel the impossible is always possible. I feel, despite the challenges in the country, anybody can become anything, anytime. And I believe the government of this country is truly doing something for the betterment of the youth and the citizen generally.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. The inauguration of the Tertiary Institution's Entrepreneurship Scheme has set in motion the implementation of one of the most practical steps taken to date to unleash the potentials of the Nigerian graduates as an entrepreneur by arming and providing them with the reorientation, training, and innovative financing model that will enhance their ability to generate employment for themselves and others. Now, this is clearly a veritable step towards addressing the daunting challenge of graduate unemployment in the country. In the interest of the Nigerian economy and that of parents and guardians who have children and relatives in Nigeria's teeming labor market of unemployed graduates, you and the economy will keep a tab on the implementation of the scheme. Periodically, we shall intimate our viewers with the strides made by TIES, especially the milestones it shall record in tackling the knotty problem of graduate unemployment in the country. For further information on the tertiary institution's entrepreneurship scheme or other CBN policies and intervention programs, please log on to the CBN website. It's www.cbn.gov.ng, or you can call the CBN Contact Center on 0700-225-5226. Do join us again next week for another edition of the program. See you then.